Well, let's turn to the United States now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is clawing back ground lost by Joe Biden. There's a new Wall Street Journal poll, and it shows the likely Democratic nominee is sitting 47% to Donald Trump's 49% in a two-person matchup. Harris is also fundraising extremely well, picking up a reported $81 million in one day. This is apparently the record for 23 hours. Let's bring in now Sky News contributor Kosha Gada. Kosha, great to see you. Look, in the space of just a week, it looks like the Democrats is back up and running.
For sure. I think, this race has clearly been reset, Sharri, and what's even more remarkable is what would normally be developed over an 18-month time span, that's the typical time span of a presidential campaign. All of that is being compressed into 100 days. We're 100 days away from Election Day, and so you're going to see this kind of tightening and everything else happen at an accelerated pace. It is expected. There's sort of, a honeymoon period for somebody who's, by and large, still a blank canvas to a lot of people, and they're working very hard over the next 4 weeks, both parties, to frame her and define her. But I think a lot of sort of pent-up demand that had been put to the side with disillusioned voters in the wake of Biden and that disastrous debate, all of that is coming back out and being released. It's sort of like a relief rally, and I think many people expect that it's going to continue in August, and that at that point we go back to the fundamentals of the race, and I think those last 60, 70 days is kind of going to basically shake out in terms of the final result here.
Look, let's turn to this story. I think this is incredible. Google, as in the search engine, is censoring results for the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. And instead, we're seeing that Google is suggesting recommended search results for Ronald Reagan, Hitler, Bob Marley, anything you can think of, but not Donald Trump. I actually tested this out today, and anyone at home can do it as well. Go to Google, type in attempted assassination on, and even when you start writing DONALD, Donald Trump does not come up. Kosha, I think this is ominous for the role of big tech in the upcoming US election.
100%. I tested it out as well, and it doesn't even stop with Google. I also tried it in ChatGPT, and it comes out and says that there are no credible reports from credible sources that he, in fact, had an attempted assassination. That's outrageous.
Wow.
I think it really brings to point this issue with big tech, where Google is 85% of the search industry. And Bing is the other 15% there. By the way, it works. They're not doing this. So you've got so much power in this one company that has so much of a market power as well as information control power. You layer on AI with the ChatGPT example, it's only going to get worse. But for a few flashpoints, you've got X, you've got some media outlets, you've got independent media that's sort of making this known. But it is really, really ominous. And it's just another version of what we saw in the last election with the Hunter Biden laptop suppression or this suppression. And you're seeing it in real time. And unfortunately, a lot of people who get their news from just these platforms and aren't as literate about going out and finding other sources will be, unfortunately, their opinions are shaped, or erasure is happening right before our eyes.
I mean, it's interesting that the left is so worried about disinformation, as we all are, but the left makes it a campaign platform. They've tried to have disinformation commissioners, and yet on ChatGPT, no credible information that there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. It's just unbelievable. Now let's turn to Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance. He's doubling down after footage emerged of him making these comments. Have a look.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
Tucker nodding along, by the way, childless cat ladies. Well, in an interview on another former Fox host at the Megyn Kelly show, Vance said it was a sarcastic comment.
It's not a criticism of people who don't have children. I explicitly said in my remarks, despite the fact the media has lied about this, that this is not about criticizing people who, for various reasons, didn't have kids. This is about criticizing the Democratic Party for becoming anti-family and anti-child.
Look, many people will be offended. It is difficult to have children, a lot of fertility issues. So, Kosha, this is damaging him. We've seen major celebrities like Jennifer Aniston attack him for the comments.
Yes, and he has, stepped into the lion's den here. So any word he has ever spoken or written, they're going to comb through that. And this was an unforced error in terms of the style with which he phrase that in the words that he chose as he's doing the cleanup right now with Megyn Kelly and others, though I think his broader point that he's sticking by is it's about what kind of society do we have and are we pro-family or anti-family as a broader point. But I think I would come back to what we talked about at the top, where this race is going to be very, very close, and it's going to be won and lost on ultimately the base turning out for both sides. And if you look at what his answer is now, and in terms of how he's trying to correct that or modulate it through that lens, it explains that he's going to not worry about the Jennifer Anistons or even like some of the moderate votes might be gettable as much as he's worried about getting those low propensity voters that are already open to and supportive of his policy and President Trump's policy. And I don't think these comments are going to sway them. So that's why he's going to double down on that position.
Yeah, all right, Kosha Gada, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, I think the likes of Jennifer Aniston and Taylor Swift aren't going to change too many votes. People know what they think of Donald Trump.